Information is power. Information is power. Information
Tell the truth.
is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Only in America.
Tell the truth.
Only in America. Only in America.
Tell the truth.
Information is
America
power.
only. That's right. You can't trust these politicians whether they black or white. That's truth.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Only in America. Only America. On these YouTube streets.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Once again, only in America. Only in America this shit happens.
Tell the truth.
The good old red, blue, and stars. Always some bullshit.
time that America refused to give the Negro any land. Through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Tell the truth.
This is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
All right,
Tell the
everybody.
truth.
Peace, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I'm live right now. Something went wrong. I was trying to broadcast live into the Roku TV today. So, Ben, if you're out there watching, brother, I will upload this particular video today as an upload, possibly next week. We'll figure it out. It'll be an uploaded video at some point in time when I'm not able to actually go live on the YouTube channel on Sunday. I'll upload this as a pre-produced upload on Roku TV. So for everybody out there right now in the chat room, I want to thank you for being here. I want to special shout out to Just Natural, because I know she's from Chicago. She may have some intimate on the ground understanding of what's happening in this community, Woodlawn, as to the situation with the migrants. So I today have prepared some videos for you. The videos will speak for themselves. I'm going to say again, because people are going to jump to conclusions with my stream today. The black people that live in Chicago are hardworking people. These are working class people. And they live in a community in which they're being gentrified, and they are fighting right now to keep it a mixed income in Woodlawn. Now, for people out there that are watching me from Chicago, I want to give you a clap and a shout out, because Chicago is one of the places where I get a lot of views, a lot of people watching me from Chicago, and places like New York and Los Angeles and Dallas, Texas, all over the damn place, and in New York, and I really appreciate that. So understand that these are people that are working class, because the first thing that people want to jump out the window and say, see, those black people are racist. They clearly said, and you're going to hear me play these clips, these Senate clips today, that they had nothing against the immigrants. They are simply concerned about the economic issues and problems and the lack of resources in this particular area in Chicago, this particular community, that black people are trying to fight over what little bit of resources that they have. And so dropping migrants into this community who do not understand the culture, the Norways and fourways, is just not right. I'm going to play the extended video of the sister who said, Mayor Lightfoot, let me put her up here, you would not do this if this was a Latino community. You would not do this. You would not take a group of Haitian immigrants or any black immigrants and drop them into white people's neighborhood without them having some say in it, without there being some public hearing. You would not drop a group of black people or these migrants into an Asian community without at least consulting the Asian community. Now, I'm going to say something, because good old America, what can I say? What can I say about this country and the way they operate when it comes to black people? And I want people to hear this.
The truth.
I want people to hear this very importantly, because I know that some of your conservatives are seeing this title of this video and they're saying, oh, gosh darn, yeah, we got a Negro who's going to praise Republicans while punching down on the Democrats. No, I got something to say to you. You see, this is how it works. I don't care about the Republican Klan or the Democrats. I don't care about either one of these parties. You see, I always say this to you all, ladies and gentlemen. The difference between these two political parties is absolutely nothing. You see, Democrats screw you with lots of Vaseline, and while they're screwing you with Vaseline, they're saying to you, does it feel good? Republicans, on the other hand, screw you with no Vaseline while looking at you and saying, does it hurt real good? They're both the same wing of the eagle bird, one left wing, one right wing. They're both the same parties. They just have a different way they go about screwing over the everyday average citizen. One claims that they're not for bigger government, although bigger government has gotten bigger under their leadership. That would be the Republican Party. One claims that they're for the people and social programs and uplift, when really what they do is they keep us pacified and dependent on the nipple of the government and dependent on their handouts, the crumbs that they give us on the table. One says, hey, if you vote for me, we're going to fix the issues that you deal with in the black community. Oh, we're going to they use buzzwords like justice, social justice. They use buzzwords like people of color. You ask these black politicians, particularly the Democrats, what about reparations, damn it? Oh, well, I think Warnock was asked this question. I have a clip of that on my shorts. Warnock was asked this by a brother, hey, it seems like reparations would be something that would help black people. And he goes into this whole thing about equity and people of color and all boats will lift one tide. When it comes to black people, the Democrats give us trickle-down politics, meaning we help this group, it helps you. You all heard Kamala Harris when she ran for president, and then of course it was black women who helped push the lead in her becoming a vice president, when she said on the griot in that interview, nah, I'm not going to do nothing just for black people. So the Democrats beg us, please to us, that they're going to do so much for us to get our votes, and then when they get in office, we get nothing in our trick-or-treat bag, just like Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown got rocks in his bag. That's exactly what black people get from the Democratic Party in general. We get rocks in our bag. We sit up here and we witness when Chinese people were being attacked in this country. It took them no time to come up with a bill that was tailored specifically to helping, well, not Chinese, Asian people, Asians, people that are of Asian ancestry. They had no problem with getting that bill together like that. When it comes to black people, they tell us we got to have a committee, we got to think about it, we got to sophisticate about it, we got to get a committee together. They give us a lot of lip service and we get nothing. Although if you look at the statistical numbers, black people are actually attacked more than any other group in this country, yet there's been no tailored hate bill towards us specific. Yes, they've got the anti-lynching bill, which should have been passed 100,000 years ago.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and greet a few people that we may have in the chat room. We got one busy mama. Thank you for being here. Back to the basics. Patoro Afro's in the house. Let me see who we have. Peggy Roster's here. Earl Owens is in the house again. Good brother there. The Honorable Angelina Nordstrom in the house. Empress Goddess is in the house. Thank you. Wellness with Fugo Mama's in the house. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you for being here. Who else could I have missed? In the Old Reliable, I think, is in the house here. Take X100, I think, is in the house here. Jill's Chocolate Boutique is in the house here. Beverly Palmer is in the house here. I see you. People coming into the chat room. I really appreciate your support today. All that you do. We've got Just Natural. I'm glad you're in the house there. Spiking in the house. Let me just say this before I continue on with this, because I know someone's going to assume this, and I want to get this all straightened out. Don't get it mixed up that because I'm going to come down on the Democrats as it relates to this particular issue, as it relates to Woodlawn, Chicago, and this is happening in other parts of the country where you have large populations of black people, where they're living in centers, urban centers that are mainly run by a Democratic government. This is why I said there's no difference between them and Republicans. Don't get it twisted. I'm not a Republican, or do I believe in the Republican, their goals. I'm not a Trump fan or any of that. The Republicans you ask yourself, well, if you're talking about the Democrats, what have the Republicans done for us? They've done absolutely nothing. Don't talk to me about Abraham Lincoln, because Abraham Lincoln only freed some black people in the South, mainly to keep the Union together. He even said himself, if I could keep the Union together without freeing any slaves, I would have done so. So don't pull Abraham Lincoln out of your collective butts, because Abraham Lincoln did not really free all slaves. That's another myth that's been told to us, and that Republicans like to pull out of their ass. Then Republicans will say that, well, the Democrats are the party of the Ku Klux Klan or the Dixiecrats. Yes, they are. Oh, yes, they are. And I will tell you this. The Republicans were the party back 100 years back in the day that were one of the first political parties that was willing to say, hey, we may need to put an end to slavery. But see, remember, the Dixiecrats, which were part of the Democratic Party, they jumped from the Democratic Party and jumped their ass right over to the Republican Party and made the Republican Party a cesspool that it is today. And doesn't mean that the Democrats are not a cesspool either, because they are. They just have different ways of screwing us all over. They tell you all the time, hey, we're going to do this for black people, we're going to do that for black people. Like, for example, and there was someone else, Amy Gorbachev, I think I was going to bring her up. She used to be the governor, I think, of Minnesota. She is a Democrat, and she screwed over a young black man who got screwed over by the police department under her governorship in Minnesota. But let me bring up Peter Buttigieg, okay? Peter Buttigieg. Everybody praised this man when he was running for president. I think Joe Biden or Mr. Sleepy Biden. Man looks like he's been trying to explain those documents that he has, and every time he was explaining it, it sounded like he was about to go to sleep. I believe that we have a president that has some neurological problems, but that's another story for another day. Now, as you see here, Pete Buttigieg was running for president. He was mayor of South Bend, Indiana, where he was mayor. Everybody praised him because he came out the closet as a gay man. It's your business who you want to love, who you want to kiss, who you want to be with, right? And so he's a part of the LGBT community that sometimes touts himself as being for everyone. Let's be free. Let's not be discriminative. Well, that's a goddamn lie, because Pete Buttigieg, and by the way, just so y'all don't know, it is white gay males that run the LGBT community, and they show racism towards gay black people who are gay or transgender or transsexual or non-binary. They deal with racism within this LGBTQ community because it's white men like Pete Buttigieg who run that community. Black people don't run that community. You're simply the mascots of that community.
Tell the truth.
I bring up Pete Buttigieg because under his leadership as a Democratic mayor, and now he's working for Biden and ran for president, everyone praised him. They failed to remind you, black people, they failed to remind black people that he had a police department that was literally abusing black people. Literally. Did you all know about that? Pete Buttigieg was not well respected or liked by the black community in South Bend, Indiana. They came to him several times and said, what are you going to do about your corrupt police department that keeps harassing black people? What are you going to do, Pete? And he had nothing but excuses to give them. But then he runs for president, gets a cushy job within the Democratic Party in Washington, D.C. as a transportation director. And they tout him as someone who potentially can become president. Another Democrat, where black people vote for Democrats, and then when we are being impacted, even Democrats don't do any more better for us in those situations, like in cities, no more different for us than a damn Republican would do for us. Now ask yourself that. Every time you ask these Republicans about reparations, they run away like it's the plague. They can't answer the question. It was Joe Biden when he got into office, who got into office because mainly he got 93% of black women who voted for him, while they pissed on black men saying that we didn't know how to think for ourselves, that, we're somehow our minds have been taken away because we decided to look beyond just the Democratic Party and say, well, let me think about this. Let me use some logical thinking. Should we be voting for the Democrats when they take us for granted? They take us $1 late and 25 cents short. This shit only happens in American society, as I said before. Only in America do black people have to put up with this type of nonsense. Well, black men actually voted for Joe Biden at the tune of 83%. Black people put his rumpy ass in office, and he had the nerve remember that video that was leaked a couple of years, leaked 2 years ago, where you had Joe Biden talking down to so-called black leadership, right? I say so-called because that's all we got is so-called. We got currently in the 117th Congress, which includes 57 black representatives, which is the recording of the highest and largest increase of black people in leadership in this country since 1965. You understand what I'm saying here? This black woman right here, you see on the screen, said to the local news in Chicago that we're not anti-immigrant. We just want to be about, she basically said in a nutshell, we be one. We're black first. What's wrong with that? Every community is be one for themselves. Every community is about themselves. Now, here we have a community that's dealing with this, yet we got 57 black people that are in the Congress that make up black Democrats and black Republicans. In the District of Columbia, in the United States Virgin Islands are black. Only 5 representatives were black in 1965 in those 2 states. The highest level of black representation in the presidency cabinet occurred during Bill Clinton's first term. You hear what I'm saying, folks? During Bill Clinton's first term. And Chicago's going through a lot right now. When 4 out of 15 cabinet appointments were black, since then, the share of cabinets that is black has fluctuated. In Obama, we have Obama here. In Obama's first term, Donald Trump presidency, only 1 cabinet member were black. But under George W. Bush, first term, Obama's second share of the cabinet that was black exceeded the black share of all the United States population. If Biden, so what I'm basically saying is we got black people that are mayors. We've got black people that are in Congress. We've got black people in the Senate. But yet black people seem to still get an empty bag. In Obama's first term, he only had one black person in his cabinet. Then he doubled it up a little bit more in his second term. Now, right there next to him, I'm going to tell you why you have this problem at Wadsworth Public School, in this problem in Woodlawn, where they're about to drop or they're trying to bring migrants. Why you have this problem. It has everything to do with Ron Emanuel. Because when he was mayor of Chicago, he closed down a large number of schools. And I think this particular school that I'm going to play these videos for you to hear about more, I think this school was one of those schools that he tore down. You have people in the black community in Woodlawn and in Chicago who would like to use this building, or would have liked to have used this building as a community program to help the community. And I think they were thinking about using it as a call center, an emergency 911 center at one point in time. I may be wrong, I may be right about that, but it didn't come to that. What I'm saying to you is Chicago primarily is a Democrat-run city. Let's go back, let's flash back to the video that I did about black homelessness. Remember, Adams is a black mayor. He's a Democrat. And and like I said, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, or whatever. This happens under all these Democratic leaders. Mayor Adams is a Democratic elected mayor. You saw me show those videos of those black men that were homeless, living in a homeless building where they didn't have they didn't have foosball, they didn't have Xbox, they didn't have nice cushiony couches. They didn't have any of the amenities, washing and dryer machines, snacks. They didn't have any of the amenities that they were about to give the migrants, that they were going to put into a tent camp, which they spent millions of dollars putting together. And you had Mayor Adams saying, I don't want to get into, when he was asked these questions, he had the audacity to say, I don't want to get into who's getting what and who's not getting what. While you had black men homeless, black people homeless on the streets of New York, struggling to make it, living in a homeless shelter where they're eating old, ill-prepared macaroni, going up flights of stairs because they don't fix the damn elevators. The kitchen area is nasty as all get out. And Adams, under his leadership, he was prepared to put together, or not prepared, he did do it, to put together a nice, cushy environment for migrants. People, I'm sorry, everybody. This is America. We're supposed to be a country of laws where you're supposed to go about getting into the country by following the rules and laws. So we're going to just let everybody come in because they claim to be wanting to seek asylum. We don't know these people. Just like the people in Woodlawn said, we don't know these people. We don't know if they got a criminal background. You don't know anything about these people. Here you have a black man who's very upset, and I'm going to play you the video of him. And remember where Ron Emanuel came from before he became mayor of Chicago. Black folks went out there with that white man's ice is colder than the black man's ice mentality, and y'all put this man in office because he was part of Obama's administration. Y'all got excited in Chicago, and you had 2 years of misery with Ron Emanuel. Not to mention the fact that his police department did dastardly things. Ron Emanuel, ladies and gentlemen, is responsible for shutting down schools in Chicago that black people did not want shut down, or that black people felt indifferent about him doing what he did. Ron Emanuel is responsible for holding on to videotapes, evidence of what the police in Chicago did to McQuan McDonald. Remember that case where the young man walked across the street and got shot dead? It was Ron Emanuel who kept it all a secret, kept it, never put it out to the public. Why? Because it was an election year. And because it was an election year, he was more concerned about his bottom line, which was getting reelected. Then after people gave him pushback and he did his little his two-term stint as mayor of Chicago, and y'all should have never allowed this to happen to Chicago, because black folks and other folks should have never voted for this man in the first place. And you know it was the black vote that put him over the top. When Ron Emanuel skipped away from Chicago and left all that mess that he created in Chicago under his administration, then he starts to be chosen for an ambassadorship. And the people in Chicago were trying to tell the Biden administration, another Democrat administration that we're under right now, and Ron Emanuel was a Democrat, and don't get it twisted, the Republicans ain't no damn better. Can't nobody tell me what the Republicans have done for black folks currently. Although we know that black people were Republicans, but y'all get it twisted with that on YouTube a lot. Most black people were conservative based on values, not based on whether they were Republican or not a Republican. A lot of Negroes on YouTube get it twisted and say, well, you know, black folks was Republicans. No, black folks had conservative values first. Conservative values mean the way you raise your family. That's totally different from being a Republican. Your conservative values about how you raise your family and live your life, that ain't political. That's how you live your life. There were black people who did become Republicans, and later on, they left the Republican Party once it got assassinated by the Dixiecrats that ran from the Democratic Party. So you see, both parties are the same. They just have a different way and methodology of how they screw us over. So it was the Biden administration who was told by citizens in Chicago, black citizens, please do not give Ron Emanuel an ambassadorship. They wanted to make Ron Emanuel an ambassador to Japan. The reason why I'm laying this all out, because this makes my argument for how black people get screwed over, and I'm using Woodlawn, Chicago, as the example of this, how black people get screwed over by Democratic candidates who become presidents and senators and congressmen and even mayors. And they come in all colors. We have black people in the Democratic Party who've been selling us out for a long time. We don't even got to talk about the Republican Party, because we know those Negroes over there always sell us out. And I do mean always. So Ron Emanuel is a contributor to the mess. So once the citizens of Chicago tried to make their pleas to the Biden administration not to let this man to your left get an ambassadorship, what did what did Sleepy Biden do? Sleepy Biden went ahead and made Ron Emanuel an ambassador to Japan, slapping in the face of black people who gave him reason why not to do it. Black people who were petitioning, black people that were telling black people up there in the White House, don't give him that position. And what they do, they went ahead and gave it to him anyway, and didn't give a damn about black people's concerns in Chicago, who were the ones who put your asses in office, put Biden in office, and helped put this fool in the mayorship, which was a bad mistake on our parts. He contributed to the mess that you see right now with this school that they're trying to convert into a migrant space for migrants to live. And black people there are saying, we're not anti-immigrant, we're just pro-black. We're black first, and we got some problems here with our resources, and this is not going to be a good situation. And then on top of that, you bring them in, and you don't even consult us at all. You have no reverence to black folks in this community who live here, pay taxes, gonna die here, the whole 9 yards. I understand that Woodlawn had problems before Ron Emanuel, but Ron Emanuel added to it and he exacerbated it. And all those things that happened mainly under a Democratic leadership. But you know what? The Republicans are no better, because they often say that most of the crime comes from the blue states. If you go and do your research, the majority of high amounts of crime are happening in red states. So the Republicans are no better, because the red states that they control, they can't even get their crime under control in the red states. So the Republican Party, or should I say the Republican clan, they just don't wear any sheets on their heads. They're no damn better either. That's why I said both the Democratic Party or the Democrat Party and the Republican clan are one and the same. One screws you with Vaseline and the other screws you without Vaseline. Let me say peace and love to Back to the Basics. She says it's not just Ukraine. Remember all the Afghanis that came in 2021. I know what I saw. I was still in the military. Yes, they're bringing other folks over here, like the Afghanis, and the Ukrainians are coming too, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, we can make an argument that Joe Biden gave them all of our reparations money because he's given the Ukrainians billions of dollars. And let me also tell you something that's going to blow your socks off as I continue further with my presentation. Let me tell you something. Did you all out there know that some of the, matter of fact, back to the basics, you can validate what I'm about to say because you're military. They said that a lot of the weapons that the United States military has been giving to the Ukrainians, they think that some of those weapons have found themselves allegedly in the hands of terrorists. So wait a minute, we're giving weapons to the Ukrainians by the hundreds and giving them billions of dollars. Somehow our weapons, or the weapons that the United States government creates, because I ain't creating them, or our tax dollars do create them, these weapons are ending up in the hands of potential terrorists. Why is that happening? Why is nobody talking about that? So when you talk about reparations and the resources that communities like Woodlawn would need, you just took the money right away from communities that need that money right here in America to push into a war getting involved in European mess. A country in the Ukraine that was racist towards African people who were trying to get out and told them no blacks are allowed to get on this train. You get back. If you're Ukrainian or you're any damn thing else but black, you come on board this train. We get you out of here, out of this war-torn country right now. If you're black, you stay your ass back. That's what they said to him. I did video on that too. So what I'm simply trying to say is I'm not giving the Republican clan a buyout on this stuff either, because they're bad as well. They are they do everything for big business and corporations, and they don't give a damn about the little man or the little lady. They're all for corporations. They didn't even want student debt, to give students some relief. They hawked at that. So the Republicans they're no damn better. And I dare any of you out there to name not in the past, to name a current political policy that the Republicans have passed that has helped poor and working class people. You can't find one, because the Republicans haven't passed anything currently, not what they did 60 or 50 or 30. I'm talking about currently, because they're the party of do nothing. And the Democratic Party is a party of procrastination, and that's truth. They told us that, hey, we're going to do a study on the HR 740 bill. We have yet to get a report from anybody from the Congressional Black Caucus. We have yet to get any substantial report on what's happening, what the study, what's the progress, what's the numbers, what's the study, what's the data. Nothing. It's nothing but a nothing burger, and they've been playing this game with us. This is the Democratic Party. We're not going to get we're not getting any reparations from the Republicans. I understand that point, because Republicans are not about giving anybody anything but themselves and enriching themselves. Now, let's go over here and let me start playing some of these videos. Let's see right here. Let me see. Donald Trump wanted to pass the platinum plan, but we voted. No, he didn't want to pass any goddamn platinum plan. Get your information right. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the plan that Ice Cube came up with. Guess what? Ice Cube has never met with Donald Trump. He said it himself when he was getting pushed back by the Democrat. Ice Cube said this. He said he presented the plan to the Democrats, and they said, we like the plan, but we'll get back to you after we get elected first. So they basically bullshitted him, right? That's the Democrats, right? That screw you with Vaseline. Then the Republicans jumped on board and said, hey, we would be interested too, but they never did anything with it. Matter of fact, Ice Cube got raked over the coals, called a Donald Trump lover, and he never met with Donald Trump. They never had a meeting. So the Republicans weren't that serious about Ice Cube either. Both of them, as I said before, the Democrats and Republicans, they're one and the same. They both screw you. They both were playing political games. Either one of them weren't paying no attention to no Ice Cube. And check this out. Why is it that we keep having entertainers try to play leaders for us? No other culture, no other society allows their entertainers to be their spokesperson. But black folks, we seem to love entertainers being our spokespersons, when Malcolm X told us himself, you can't let entertainers be your spokesperson. No other group does. Now, let me go ahead and say we got a Music Man 82 that's just coming to the house. And another thing too, when Donald Trump sat up there and said that he was going to give more money to the HBCUs, it was students at the HBCUs that told the presidents of these HBCUs, don't meet with Donald Trump. He's simply going to use you as a photo op. Guess what happened? Most of the money that Donald Trump promised to historical black colleges, those presidents of those schools are not happy with Donald Trump right now. Why? Because they didn't get all the money that he claimed he was going to give them. It was a photo. Is my microphone working? Is my microphone working? It was a photo op. So you Negroes on YouTube, stop getting on YouTube telling everybody, well, Donald Trump, he gave black people more money. Donald Trump played games. Shut up. Once again, your belief in white men saving your ass really makes me laugh. I know you don't like what I'm saying, but you're going to get some of this lesson today, because I'm not playing with you. You're going to get this lesson whether you love it or not.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got Naps in the house, Naps TV. Make sure you check out his channel. We got Kendra G, Back to the Bases, Beverly Palmer, and we got The Truth in the house. Thank you for coming over, sister, and you bringing us truth in the chat room. We got 2-star, Carolyn 2 stars in the house. I'm gonna put some stuff up on the screen here and see what we can do, because I got to get to these video presentations for you. Let me see. I don't need a spokesperson. I'm my own Now, the Honorable Angelina Nordstrom, I am so glad that you said what you said. You know why? Because it's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Okay, now we got the truth up here saying they took away everything positive that we doing in Woodlawn. Right. And so let me just say this. I'm going to say it again. Both political parties have problems. Now, do the Democrats tend to come up with policies that are more in line with what black people may need sometimes? Yes, they do. But it's the failure of their execution of these policies that usually falter in the win. So they'll give us these big promises about things that we do want, but we don't always get it. It's like drinking a bad cup of Kool-Aid. It's like drinking Kool-Aid without the sugar that you pour in as a child. You get the liquid, you get it, but you really don't get the sweetness. You don't get the benefits. You listen to what they say and you say, wow, okay, they're going to do this for us, they're going to do that for us, but you don't get to enjoy the sweet taste of what they claim they're going to do for you because they usually don't do it. They sputter and have other priorities over black people. The Democratic Party has been nothing but a grifter of the black vote. They are a grifter of the black vote and leave us empty with an empty bag and wanting more, but we never get what we're supposed to get. And then they wonder why it was reported that the Democrats are concerned about the black vote in 2024, that they are afraid that black people are starting to peel away from them. And the reason why is because of the same thing I'm talking about right now on this program today. Back to the base, it says, like I really want Meg the Stallion with her ratchet self speaking on my behalf. Right. I don't want Meg the Stallion speaking on our behalf either. Now, I think that Tory Lanez is a rat bastard for what he did to her. And that videotape that was dropped on the YouTube streets, it proved that the man is, he's not a man. He's a little boy. Okay, we got Mike B says they never do unless they see a benefit to themselves. Facts.
Tell the truth.
Then we have, let me see, everyone's waiting on the Messiah to come back. They will be waiting forever. We have the power to change our circumstances. Facts. Facts. Waiting on the Messiah is just not going to work. Okay, now we have the Honorable Angelina Nordstrom, who says that Woodlawn has not been in good condition for a very long time. No tea, no shade. No. I appreciate you saying that. Look. I'm not sitting up here to paint this picture that Woodlawn has been in good shape. The videos I'm going to show you is that this lady right here. Let me let you see something, everybody. The lady right here says that they have resources that they're struggling with. And this young lady, this young woman right here, or she looks like she's a sweet grandmother. She's somebody's grandmother. This beautiful sister right here said that they're fighting to make income equality with their housing in Woodlawn because black people are being gentrified. And that they're saying that this is one other more problem by dumping these migrants in their community without asking them, telling them what the plan is, working with the community, and the community knowing that, hey, are we going to be safe with these people here? What's the security measures like? How long are they going to be here, right? There's a language barrier there. There's so many different things that's happening in this community. So they're saying our community is already hurting. So Laura Lightfoot, or maybe Beetlejuice, they're asking her, why are you doing this, ma'am? And they're already saying we're not going to be, because she's up for re-election. And I'm sorry, I think, this is no shade, I just don't think that the Lori Lightfoot experiment in Chicago, and Natural, I know you're from Chicago, anybody else from Chicago, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I just don't think that the experiment has worked out. I think it's been a disastrous failure.
Tell the truth.
on so many different levels, folks. That's just, you know, what I'm seeing from the outside looking in. Okay. Now, let me put this chart up here. I'm going to break this down. In 2019, black people mostly lived in the South. So you got the western part. We got 10% of black people live in the western part of the country, according to the latest statistics in 2019. Okay. 17% of black people primarily live in the Midwest. Okay. 56% of black people live in the South. 17% of black people live in the North. This is according to a Pew Research Center. So ain't nothing I'm making up here. United States black population. Now, when you say, hey, you're just talking about the Democratic Party, but what about the Republicans? Well, let's talk about the Republicans. If black people are 56%, make up 66% of the population in this country, mainly in the South, and we know who runs and controls the South are these Republican clan, and they're screwing black people over in the case of Jackson, Mississippi, with the water crisis, where they ill repaired the city's water problems. It wasn't just the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, but it was also the Governor Tates who screwed black people over, and white people who left because of black people coming into the community. They fled out, took their money with them. They didn't care about fixing the pipes, fixing the levees in this community, because why? They want to flood black people out so that they can have white people move right back into Jackson, Mississippi, repatriate it, and take it over to get black people out of the community by pricing them out and flooding them out. That's the truth.
Tell the truth.
So the Republicans are not doing any damn better in their policies, in their direction towards even black people in the South, because there's no way that Jackson, Mississippi, which is supposed to be the capital of Mississippi, that they should have weak water systems, which they already knew for years that they had these weak water systems. But the Republican governor, because even though they got a black mayor, the Republican Governor Tates and all the rest of them control the money. The governor controls the money, didn't do anything to fix this problem. Yet they can give Brett Favre, the old Yahoo football player from Green Bay, they can give Brett Favre, as we know, they could give Brett Favre
the truth.
$6 million. Let him cipher from the welfare system there, cipher money from the poor and the underprivileged who needed it. Brett Favre, who should be in prison right now, but he's not in prison. This is what you get under your Republican policies in the South, particularly in Mississippi, which is high number. They got about their population there. Let's take a look at what the population is there in Jackson, Mississippi. 79 to 80%. The last number I checked was about 80%, but they have it at 79.40%. Jackson, Mississippi. What cities have the most black populations placed with over 100,000? It's Jackson, Mississippi, at 79.40%. Really, it should be it's about 80%, right? Then you got Miami Gardens, Florida, 76.3%, ladies and gentlemen. Birmingham, Alabama rates in at 73.5% black population. Baltimore, Maryland, my hometown, shout out to Baltimore, 64.3% population. Memphis, Tennessee, 61.4%. Okay. New Orleans comes in at 60.2%. 60.2%. Richmond, Virginia at 57.2%. What do they all have? What do they have in some common? Well, let's say Baltimore has been mainly controlled by Democrats, and it's been a complete mess with their political policies in Baltimore that black folks haven't benefited from. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
And I already told you about Jackson, Mississippi. New Orleans has been under some Democrat control, and it's a mess. But also, they also had a Republican governor. They also had a Republican mayor of New Orleans at one time. I think the Indian guy, Bobby was his name, goofy guy. So it all fits into my hypothesis. They all screw us in the end. Let's get to some of these videos, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to hear this and hear these videos and take this information in very well if you can. Let's go with the first video right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Colorado's Governor, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, admitted that the city is struggling with the ongoing influx of migrants. In fact, cameras recorded several migrants seeking shelter here at the District 1 police station as the city now introducing new plans to house asylum seekers while also raising some concerns. Bundled in what little clothing they had in their luggage, migrants today dropped off at the District 1 police station. Their long journey to the United States met with many detours. Now Chicago leaders grapple with an overflow of asylum seekers.
This mayor and this city has to have a plan both for asylum.
To say this right here to Sister Kimberly, I am going to give solutions, but I want you all to think about solutions as well. I want you all in the chat room to drop whatever you think are solutions too. I think that collectively, black people, you already know this, collectively, we have to get on code with each other. Secondly, we got to start holding these politicians accountable. Thirdly, we just can't vote for anybody just because they black or they're white or they're Democrat or they claiming that they're going to do something for us. We got to really hold their asses accountable. And when they're not doing right by us, we get rid of them. We don't give our votes to people who don't value us. And this may include getting rid of some of our black politicians that we have in that congressional black caucus. We got people that's been in that congressional black caucus like Clyburn for years, and he's done nothing for us lately. But they keep getting reelected, and we keep getting the same stale do-nothing leadership. So we have to change. We have to change the narrative. Now, does that mean that you may have to stop voting as a vote protest? Some would say that that's not a thing to do, but you have to make decisions that are best for you. We need to send a clear message. Does that mean voting Republican? Republicans are no much better, but it's about voting your interests. Vote your interests. Don't vote emotionally. Don't make emotional votes. Make interest votes. So whether that person's a Republican or whatever, look at what they're about. What's their long track history? In the case of someone like Rahm Emanuel, he already screwed black people over in his first term. So why did you give him, in this case, why would we give Rahm Emanuel, for example, why would we give Rahm Emanuel a second term? He screwed you in the first term as well. He screwed you in the second term. So we have to learn a lesson. You fooled me the first time, shame on me. You fool me a second time, my foot goes up your you know what. You got to get rid of these individuals. Black Anonymous, Earl Owens, thank you. So I think collectively as black people, we got to be more politically astute. We need a political education. Now, I'm going to say this, and y'all should know who this person is because he's a son of Chicago. And that son of Chicago,
and for communities that have been here.
As plans to house some migrants at the...
That son of Chicago is Fred Hampton, who was a member of the Black Panther Party. Fred Hampton already told us years ago before they slaughtered him, before the police in Chicago slaughtered him, it was all a setup. And of course, it was a black person who contributed to setting him up. That's another thing we got to do as a solution. We have to get rid of all of our raccoons and all of our sellouts. Get rid of them.
Tell the truth.
We have to be aware that we have spies and infiltrators and people who are what we call provocateurs and things of that nature. Now I got my man, Black Men Unfiltered Network, who's come in to bless the channel with some super chat, which I really appreciate that, brother. You coming in and blessing the channel like that. We got, let me put this on the screen. Thank you very much for doing that. We got my man, the real Aaron Collins, who is from Chicago. We have to start recognizing that we got spies They even here on YouTube. I'm going to do a video about that. We got Negroes who get on YouTube, who get on panels that be telling black folks, y'all shouldn't want reparations. What? Any black person telling you that we shouldn't want have the idea of reparations is a black person who is a agent and a infiltrator. What black person? You got Umar Johnson telling black folks that we don't need reparations. He's a dummy. If black people got reparations, that would be more money for black people to give to Umar Johnson when he's begging you, saying, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. We got Raw B Privilege in the house. I'm gonna give the brother saying, oh, thank you, sister, for dropping that. Raw B, I love Raw B. Thank you for being here. But let me go ahead and play the man the appropriate music for the occasion. And thank you once again, Black Men Unfiltered, for the super chat, brother. Here you go.
Thank you for the super chat.
Time to run it off. I wake up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet, tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up, I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet, tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up, 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number 1 up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this.
Thank you for the super chat.
No sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now,
Tell the truth.
All right. Tell the truth, everybody. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you for everybody that's in the chat room supporting the channel. It always goes back into the channel. Let's get back
Tell the truth.
The video that I was showing. Let's get back on point here, and I'm going to move this back just a little bit and let you hear this. I'm going to go from video to video, and definitely I want you all to hear what's going on.
Overflow of asylum seekers.
This mayor and this city has to have a plan both for asylum seekers and for communities that have been here.
As plans to house some migrants at the former Wadsworth Elementary School in the Woodlawn neighborhood is now under fire. Some aldermen and state legislators spoke out against that proposal. Their message: help people in this very community who need help too.
So don't get this twisted. This is not a us against them. This is sanctuary for all. We can all be taken care of.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office releasing a statement saying in part, quote, the city is continuing to engage with the Woodlawn community and is committed to carefully balancing the needs of both our residents and new arrivals. At this time, the city has not determined a firm date on when this space will open for shelter.
I understand the Woodlawn residents who are upset because they have not been consulted. They have not been part of the plan. And that is unfortunately has happened time after time.
Colorado Governor Jared Polis says he will stop busing migrants to Chicago following a conversation he says he had with Mayor Lightfoot and New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. Adams and Lightfoot saying in part, quote, continuing to bus asylum seekers to Chicago and New York City would only exacerbate the challenges the two cities currently face and would also further victimize these mostly vulnerable individuals. And also in that open letter to Colorado's governor, Mayor Lightfoot says as of January 4th, the city has received nearly 4,000 asylum seekers from the state of Texas alone.
Tell the truth.
All right. I want to thank somebody for super chat. Let me go to Brother Big Bad Bull. What's up, brother?
Thank you for the super chat.
He says, salute to the Brother Information Man show. Hey, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And so now this is what I have to do for you too, brother. As always, here we go.
Thank you for the super chat.
Tell them run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands. I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage. Now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans. Don't need no friends. I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'll make it good. The first one in the left.
Tell the truth.
I'm sorry about that. I had my mute on. I wanted to say, this is what I was saying. Angelina Nordstrom, thank you for your comment. But the truth said that let me read that statement by Truth. She said something about her sister or family member being given drugs. Man, this is terrible. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, here we go. This is what I was trying to say before I realized I had muted. I had myself still muted. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. She says, information, man, my cousin was recently found dead in a car, high off of drugs. Her children's father started feeding her drugs when she was. That is a damn shame. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. I'm not playing. I'm sorry. That's why when you saw me on the screen, I was kind of looking a certain way. I was saying the same thing that that's terrible. Lightfoot is mainly the reason Chicago is in the situation that it's in now. Ron Emanuel didn't do no better. Yeah, well, Ron Emanuel contribute to the problems that she's dealing with now, but she hasn't made it better. But there were problems before Ron Emanuel, and I got to be honest, Chicago is a city that's had a lot of black leadership. So I'm going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, in Chicago, and black people around this country, is the black leadership that you have elected, is it doing right by you? And let's be honest, a lot of this black leadership that most black people are under in these urban settings tend to be, I'm saying they tend to be people who are, you know what I'm about to say, they're black. Black mayors, black aldermen, as well as white as well. This doesn't negate the fact that the Republicans have been no better too. But I'm particularly focusing on Democrats today because they're the ones that tend to be in leadership in a lot of the communities that we live in. I made my case for Mayor Adams in the way he was flippant about black people that were homeless in New York that had complaints about all the amenities that they were prepared or that they had prepared for migrants who, by the way, they're not here legally. They technically have no business here in the first place because they didn't come over legally. If I take my black behind to another country, what do you think they're going to do to me? Send me right back. Let's go back into those video clips. I appreciate everybody that's here, by the way. Let's go back. I want to get back on track here. Check out this one right here, ladies and gentlemen.
past few months, we've shown you this Woodlawn Elementary School from the drone and from the ground. We've shared images of workers coming and going and the ongoing construction inside.
Our ideal target start date there is January 6th.
Then in late December, a hastily called community meeting where city officials finally opened up about plans to move migrants in less than 2 weeks later.
Maybe to reconsider your deadline, because you're not giving us enough time.
Then on January 4th, 2 days before move-in day, the mayor's office sent out an email backtracking, saying the date is no longer applicable.
We want inclusiveness. We want real transparency.
We don't know why the January 6th move-in date was scrapped, but we do know what the school looks like inside. CBS 2 obtained these photos taken this week that don't exactly cry out home sweet home. Several photos from our insider show missing floor tiles. In other cases, the tiles there, but certainly not very welcoming and clean looking. Look up and you'll see missing ceiling panels in some places. Other areas with work to be done include this dangling speaker and an incomplete light switch.
Ladies and gentlemen, unless I'm looking at old messages because I was muted one time, put a 7 in the chat room if you can hear me now and if you can hear the audio of this video.
Here's what appears to be the remnants of a chalkboard ripped out. And this ceiling needs some work, at least a fresh coat of paint. 2 people are checking out a bathroom, and we know from a public records request that taxpayers paid more than $1 million on plumbing fixes at the shuttered school.
The vagueness of special attention by Chicago Police Department.
One of the biggest questions by residents at that late December meeting was about safety. In some of the photos we obtained, you can see a man with the word police written on his vest. But we still don't have answers about security at the possible shelter. In fact, when we pressed Chicago police late last month, a spokesperson told us, "We're going to refer you over to the mayor's press office." Yet the answer from the mayor's office then? Nothing to share for now.
I would appreciate it if you would give us a little more time, another meeting before you set a deadline. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Madison.
For whatever reason, the resident you just heard from got her wish. There is a community meeting tomorrow night, another one. I'll be there.
Okay. That particular audio sound that you was hearing, that did not come from my system. That came from the audio of the video itself. They were having technical problems themselves. Let's go to the next video and let you see something else here. I'm putting everything in category here. Here's the next one. Here is Lightfoot.
Campaign is facing sharp criticism.
Calling on the mayor to halt this move to move the migrants to this building and use it as a temporary shelter because the community members are not okay with it.
Mayoral candidate Jamal Green seizing on the opportunity to go after the mayor this morning with.
Let me stop it right there. You see what happens? Now, he and I think another individual are running for mayor. So he's seizing on the opportunity to put forth himself as the leader. Guess what, black folks in Chicago? You talk about solutions. He's now talking all fancy and dancy about the situation because he wants to be mayor. So now y'all got to vet that black man there. Y'all got to vet him. Y'all got to look at him with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that if he was to get in office, that he doesn't repeat the very thing that he's trying to criticize Lori Lightfoot about, right? Because anytime, this is how these politicians work, or potential politicians, when they see that another politician's got some problems, they seize the moment to say, hey, I'm the one that can fix all these problems. Then they get in and become a buffoon. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm just saying you got to watch him. Let's talk about Kwame Kilpatrick. Oh, I know Kwame very well in Detroit. He's still in denial to this day that he was trying to act like he was some type of gangster. Kwame Kilpatrick had everyone had great hopes for him. He was young. He had swagger. The ladies liked him. Obviously they did because he was messing around with them. Right? But he took advantage of the people's trust in him and advantage of his position as mayor to the point that he got himself caught up in a scandal. Now he goes to prison, does prison time, gets out, and what always happens with these kind of guys? Now all of a sudden, he's a preacher. Now he's a man of God all of a sudden. Hallelujah. Let's go back over to the video. Let's continue.
The press conference in front of the school.
I am not against helping and being a welcoming city and moving forward resources to help folks who have been dropped off by Republican governors around the country. But we must make sure that we take care of those right here in the city of Chicago, and we take care of those who are most vulnerable, landing on our streets all throughout our city.
He, like fellow mayoral candidate Willie Wilson, also saying the mayor and her team.
Willie Wilson, let's talk about this individual here. I know there's some people from Chicago. You guys know these folks better. Willie Wilson is another one who's got ads. I listen to WVON in Chicago like almost every day during the week in the morning. And he's another one that's running ads in Chicago and saying that he can fix all of Chicago's problems. Same thing goes for him that goes for the younger brother. If you're going to vote for Willie Wilson, hold Willie Wilson accountable for what he says he's going to do. Because Willie Wilson, like the other young brother, of course, he wants to be mayor. So he's going to use the situation to his advantage because Lori Lightfoot looks sort of bad right now. Right? So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to it now.
On our streets all throughout our city.
He, like fellow mayoral candidate Willie Wilson, also saying the mayor and her team was not transparent with the community about what was happening at the school.
Let me see something. I think Angelina Nordstrom wrote something I want to put up because she's from Chicago, like natural. See what she's saying here. She says, Willie Wilson has been running for mayor for a very long time. He's always losing the election. Now, the Honorable Angelina Nordstrom, is he a good man, though? What is he doing in the community where you live, in Chicago? Is he a good man? Maybe he's not. I'm just saying, maybe he's not getting elected because he's too real, right? He's too real. Maybe there's we can't put him in office because he might just do some real stuff for the people. Or is he losing because he's incompetent? He doesn't have what it takes? Or is there a Democratic PAC in the Chicago? Because you have Democratic PACs. Is there a Democratic PAC, meaning what we would call the establishment, the Washington, D.C. Biden Democrats who are trying to keep Willie Wilson out of being elected? Is that what's happening to him? Are the other Democratic powers drowning the brother out? But let's continue to hear this.
Wilson saying the mayor in October said it would not become a temporary shelter for migrants. A spokesperson for the mayor says that is not accurate.
So, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, Willie Wilson, who's running for mayor, and Sister Nordstrom says that he's always losing. He's saying that Lori Lightfoot lied to the people, but she's saying, her office is saying, not true. Not true. Willie Wilson is lying. He ain't telling the truth. Somebody's telling the truth and somebody's lying. Let's hear the rest.
Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor, who has gone face-to-face with Lightfoot before.
Now, I like the Alderwoman Jeanette Taylor. Tell me about Jeanette Taylor, those of you that's from Chicago. She's been all over this issue, lighting a fire under Lightfoot's ass. And let's go.
Jeanette Taylor, who has gone face-to-face with Lightfoot before, told the Sun-Times her constituents have safety concerns, and she wonders if the right support organizations are in place to help asylum seekers. She believes there will be protests, and she says she'll be standing with demonstrators if this plan moves forward. She was quoted as saying, "This is a big mess," in the Sun-Times, and if we don't do this the right way, we are doing more harm to the community on both sides.
Tell
all right.
the truth.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see,
Tell the truth.
There's a lot going on in Chicago, but this, I'm using Chicago because this is not only happening in Chicago, it's happening in other cities around the country where you have black populations that are being put upon. And black people are always, we're always a loving people. We accept people of different races and creeds and religion and sexuality. But this is the thing though, we're always put upon. Why is it that we always have to be put upon and then we have to accept it, right? We have to accept it because a lot of us are Christian and we believe in Jesus and we're loving people. So, you know, black people, don't worry about that. They're loving people. They're Christian people. Let's put upon them anything we want. We'll put a junkyard in their neighborhood. They don't want a junkyard. We'll put people that's illegal that they don't even know, who don't speak the language, who may have criminal background, who haven't been screened properly. Just put it in their neighborhood. Anything you don't want, anything you don't want in your neighborhood, you put it in the black neighborhood. Anything you don't. If you don't want a freeway in your neighborhood, put it in a black neighborhood. Don't we have freeways running through black neighborhoods? Anything you don't want in your neighborhood, put it in a black neighborhood.
Tell the truth.
Let's go on with the next video, shall we? Here's another one.
Just hours until that first group of asylum seekers could move in.
Casey Cronus has the story.
Residents say they were blindsided by the announcement and feel there are other community issues that should be addressed first.
There is a lack of resources in our community. We don't need anyone else to come in and suck those up.
Located at 64th and University Avenue.
Now that's key what she said. I know people are going to look at that and say, oh, she's a racist. No, it's the truth. They already have a lack of resources. You have black communities like this around this country, and I'm going to keep it real again. And a lot of times these communities are run by Democratic leadership. You supposed to have charity at home first.
Tell the truth.
Let's hear this.
A lack of resources in our community. We don't need anyone else to come in and suck those up.
Located at 64th
Tell the
and
truth.
University Avenue, an unoccupied building that once housed Wadsworth Elementary School might soon be open to migrants from the Texas border. Without providing details on timeline or living arrangements, a city official confirms the building has recently undergone repairs to accommodate the new arrivals. But residents say they weren't notified of this plan and met Thursday to protest the decision.
And the community feels as though it was a slap in the face not to include them.
They want answers, including how long they'll be housed there, if there will be security, and if background checks will be conducted. They also question why the city isn't addressing neighborhood crime, unemployment, and homelessness first.
We're struggling right now to make Woodlawn an affordable, mixed-income community. While I would love to help immigrants and everybody else, I'd like to help my own first.
Oh, she is B1. Now, let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. What did I just say? That black people are loving, we're religious, we're forgiving, maybe to a damn fault, I believe. What did she say? She said, although we would like to help the immigrants and we feel for them, we would like to do for ourselves first. That's B1. Let's hear it again. And another thing that bothers me is that I got something to say. I got something to say for black men here in a minute. But let's hear this once more time, because she's talking B1 right here. We always get on YouTube and we put the little moniker B1, B1. No, that's B1 right there you see on the screen talking there.
Right now to make Woodlawn an affordable, mixed-income community. While I would love to help immigrants and everybody else, I'd like to help my own first.
Boom, B1. And she said a mixed income. They're trying to make it a mixed income because they're being gentrified. Listen to that part. Listen to that part about the mixed income.
Happening right now to make Woodlawn an affordable mixed income community. While I would love to help immigrants and everybody else, I'd like to help my own first.
Boom. Check this out, my dear sister. Let me put her picture on the screen here. This is the thing I'm going to say because I can say it and we can all say it. In my opinion, a black woman like this, who is an elderly black woman, a senior citizen who has paid her dues, paid her taxes. This is a woman who probably had to deal with racism, all kind of discrimination. This is a woman who deserves reparations, if more than anybody, because she didn't live through it. I'm telling you right now, you don't need to say that you want to help other people or that you're not you ain't got to say none of that. In the first place, it ain't your job. It's your job to be B1, as you said. You see that? She still said, hey, even though I want to help all people, I got to help my people first. But my thing is, she don't even have to say that. Our black elderly people should never have to say that. They didn't pay their dues. Ain't nobody doing nothing for them. This damn country ain't done nothing for them. Let's continue on with the Joe Biden bullshit now.
This comes on the same day President Biden announced the U.S. is now turning away individuals from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela.
Check this out. Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, Nicaragua. Check this out. Remember I did that video, ladies and gentlemen? Remember I did that video where you had Haitian migrants who came over. They were in, what was that? El Paso, Texas, under the freeway. They swooped them up within 2 days and sent them all back within that week to Haiti. And you saw them treating them like they were slaves on a plantation. Yet you've got the migrants, the Mexican and the Central Americans that's over there. I haven't seen them round them up within 2 or 3 days and take them right back to Central America where they come from. But if you're a black migrant or immigrant, you go back. If you're black, if you're brown, you can stick around. If you're black, you must go back.
Tell the truth.
Go down in Florida and see how they treat the black Haitians. The black Cubans. See, even though Joe Biden's talking about he's going to have a policy to neutralize these particular countries from having their migrants coming over here, it's particularly the Haitians and the black Cubans that tend to get sent back. If you got the wrong complexion, you don't have protection, you see?
Tell the truth.
It's the truth. It's the damn truth. Let's finish the video.
Across the border illegally. Instead, the U.S. will accept 30,000 people per month from those 4 nations for 2 years. The president set to visit the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso this weekend for the first time since taking office.
You need a lawful sponsor in the United States of America, number 1. And you need to undergo a rigorous background check, number 2.
After multiple requests to the mayor's office on that temporary housing in Woodlawn, a city official tells us they do not have a statement at this time.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Tell the truth.
let me just say this. I know everybody couldn't hear me for that moment. Black Republicans, as you see right there, they're always giving black people excuses. They're always telling us, oh, we'll get back to you. We'll tell you what's going to happen. And they never get back to us. They lead us down the wrong angles. They mislead us. They misguide us. They try to trick us, give us tricknology. I call it politics. It's just not only the Democrats that do this, but the Republicans do this too. They do tricknology. They do political tricknology. They use black Republicans to shit on black people so that they can hide behind their racism and their prejudice. Not that the Democrats are not prejudiced and racist too. Some of your most racist white folks are your liberal white folks. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
The ones that smile on your face and tell you that you're a good neighbor, that they like you, or they're not racist. They have to remind you how many black friends they have. There's some of these white liberals are some of the worst. The Republicans a little bit more direct with their racism, but they'll use black puppets to talk their talking points. See, a lot of these black Republicans don't have a thought of their own. They usually get their talking points from listening to white conservatives, and then they repeat those talking points, and then they add in the extra spice, which is, let me talk about black people like a dog, because they can talk about black people without their white conservative counterparts being seen as racist. So you use your your black Republican mascots to do your bidding for you without you having to have the problem with being called a racist, because you can now say, hey, Candace Owens said this. Hey, Kanye West said that. He's black, isn't he? So he must be right because he speaks for all black people. Once again, people who don't speak for us, but they act like they do. So they use them as tools and fools. That's what I'm saying. Understand how political science works. It's called political science. It's a science to how they manipulate you and me to get us to do what they want us to do. This picture right here and the video that I'm going to show you is a video that I think is the meat of this content today. You all saw this video on my YouTube short, which got a lot of views on this video. Here is the video right now in its fullness. And I think, once again, this is the community of Woodlawn telling it like it is, telling the truth, and expressing how they felt. Here we go.
I'm here because I am a child of Woodlawn. I was born and raised in Woodlawn. And I'm speaking on behalf of the people that are here and the ones that's not here, the ones that's at work and couldn't make it here. We are very disappointed in this decision that Mayor Lightfoot has made to place these migrants in our community without our permission. Shame. Mayor Lightfoot would never pull this type of thing in anyone's neighborhood. She would not drop off a busload of Haitians in Little Village. She would not drop off a busload of black people in Chinatown. Never. She would not drop off a busload of black people up north. Never. So it's time for Mayor Lightfoot to understand we will no longer be disrespected by you, ma'am. Please withdraw your decision to put the migrants in our community. There's plenty of room in Little Village for their people. Please speak to Little Village and take them over there. We're not hating on anyone, but we are loving on Woodlawn. That's right. As well, we already are struggling with the issue of fentanyl in our communities. We don't need anything else to add to the struggles that we already have. If there is a lack of resources in our community, we don't need anyone else to come in and suck those up. That's right. We're tired, Miss Lightfoot, We're tired, and we will not be voting for you. Thank you.
Tell the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Tell the truth.
they're completely telling the truth. The women are telling the truth, but I got to say something right now. Let me put that back on the screen right now, and I'm going to do something. This is what I'm going to do. Give me just 1 minute to do it.
I am a child of Woodlawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me out what I'm about to say right now. And I'm speaking to men in particular. You know, we hear men on YouTube often say that it appears like the black community is run by a monarchy, not by a patriarchy. And that it appears that women are running the community. I have to say this. As you see on the video, you see a majority of women out here. You see a few black men. They are older black men by all means, who are sort of they're in the background. And I'm not saying that our women should not be speaking up and expressing what's going on, because they're mothers. They see how it affects them and their children. But I really am disappointed that we don't have more men out here, especially young men, who are going to be the main ones, young men in particular, who will be the main ones affected by the changes in this community. And a lot of times we'll blame and we'll say, oh, why is it that we don't have a patriarchy, or women are taking over this, or women are black women that run the black community. Black women can't run the black community if black men don't get off their asses and get involved in the black community. As long as you're not getting involved in the black community, working in the black community, taking leadership in the black community, while you get up here on YouTube and other social medias claiming to be alpha and claiming how much you are a man builds his community. A man fixes his community. A man takes lead. Maybe these ladies are speaking up because there ain't no other men in the community to speak up. Now, there are a few black men in the crowd here that may have spoke up to the press, but there should be more black men out here. Why is it that in a place like Chicago or any other place, as black men, we can have beef with one another. We can get involved in gangs and have gunplay with one another. But when something's really affecting our community, potentially, we can't show up for that in large numbers as men. As long as we don't show up as men and get involved in something that's happening in our community and take a leadership stand, then you're going to continue to see our women take that leadership. Because if we're not around to take that leadership, there's going to be a void that has to be filled, and you're going to have some women that are going to fill that void, whether we like it or not. But I do think it's a bad look that the majority of the people that you have out here are women. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying it's a bad look for the men in the community in general. And it's a bad look that the majority of the men that are there, I see one with the brown hat, one with the red hat, one brother standing over to the side. These are older black men. We need young blood. Where is the young blood? We can get on wax and rap and do drill rap and talk about how tough we are, all that other nonsense. When it's time to really get tough and really take lead, you're nowhere around. Black man, if you want the community to change itself, black man, if you want to be more of a leader, if you want to maintain the patriarchy and let that take over and permeate, then take leadership. Women will not SRS to men who show no leadership. Masculinity is not just you sitting on a live stream saying you're masculine. Masculinity is what you do. It's action in motion. So I think it's pathetic that these women in the community are the ones making the biggest noise about this. I'm not saying there's no men making noise about this. They just happen to get them on press here. But I'm saying there should be more men out here amongst the women. If we're not willing to get involved in our community, if we're not willing to get involved in what's happening to take leadership, I see another brother way back in the back there, cornerback next to the sister with the red hat. If we're not willing to take that leadership, then we can't get up here on social media, any damn media, and complain about, well, the matriarchy is taking over from the patriarchy. Stop whining and crying. Real men do shit and get shit done while babies whine on social media.
Tell the truth.
It's a damn shame.
Tell the truth.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, after they gave that press conference and they said they would not vote for Lori Lightfoot and that they would not be voting for her and they wanted answers, after all their protests and all of their pleasing to the Democratic run government in Chicago, that they didn't want this to happen, that they want to be a part of the decision making and that it would be too much of a strain on their community. Guess what the damn Democratic leadership in Chicago did? And it ain't just Chicago. This sort of stuff has happened in other cities where you have black people and you have Democratic leadership. It has happened. But I'm going to say again, the Republicans are no better. Look at how they're treating black people in the South. Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi is a mess. Primarily under a Republican run state. One of the poorest states. Alabama is a Republican run state. They're one of the worst states economically. Arkansas is a Republican run state. A lot of black people live there. Terrible. I just told you a few minutes ago in my analysis here that 56% of black people live in the South, which is primarily dominated by these Southern Republican Klansmen. 56%. And a majority of these southern states are poor as get out, run by Republicans. So this ain't just a Democratic problem, it's a Republican problem too.
Tell the truth.
Now let me let you see what they did after they were pleading to Lori Lightfoot not to do this. Let you see what happens.
Years. That's how long a migrant shelter for hundreds of adults could operate in Woodlawn. Residents learned tonight that the city's mind is made up. A vacant school is set to open for asylum seekers before the end of the month. CBS 2's Lauren Victory is live with the breaking details revealed at a second community meeting that just wrapped up. Lauren.
Hi, Erica. Hundreds of people showed up tonight in person or virtually, and some kind of felt like the meeting was over before it started. That's because I want to show you this wet piece of paper that they received when they walked in. It was full of frequently asked questions, and the answer to when will migrants move in was as soon as a week and a half from now.
They're inviting you to the table now that it's done.
Once again, emotions flared over the temporary shelter for asylum seekers that's coming to the old Wadsworth Elementary School in Woodlawn.
Nothing I say here tonight or what's going on tonight is going to change nothing.
Many in this audience say they're not anti-migrant, but they are opposed to how the city's gone about making these plans at the closed Chicago Public School building.
We didn't think and talk to you first.
City officials...
You hear what she just said? They didn't think and they did not talk to the citizens. So this brother right here that you heard a minute ago, they did not think and they did not consider them as having input in the plan. They just went on ahead and did it anyway, even though they knew that this black community had an issue with what they were going to do. You see this? This is your Democratic leadership in Chicago, y'all.
Actually apologized to the crowd for not including them in conversation sooner, calling that an oversight. Then they moved on to one of residents' biggest...
Calling that an oversight is just some more BS. Gumbo yaya BS. Some oversight. No, ain't no oversight. It's some you didn't give a damn about black people's opinions and thoughts in the community. That's what it was.
To the crowd for not including them in conversation sooner, calling that an oversight. Then they moved on to one of residents' biggest concerns, safety when the migrants move in. It was revealed that 24/7 security will be provided. Contracted officers will
tell the truth
at every entrance, and they'll be tasked with both indoor and outdoor monitoring. Plus, Chicago police plan to conduct checks on every shift.
I just want you guys to understand that we will definitely continue to work to make sure that my officers are there and present.
Other city...
Let me stop right there. Let's stop the BS right now. The Chicago, now for the people that are from Chicago, you know better than I know, but come on now. The Chicago police are having a hard enough time dealing with the crime that's being committed by people that are citizens and live in Chicago. Now we're supposed to believe, or the black citizens of Woodlawn are supposed to feel secure that the police somehow has got their back on the security of this school, which Ron Emanuel, when he was the mayor of Chicago, contribute to that situation. That building should be used for a program to benefit the community. But now the community is supposed to believe in the police, the same corrupt police in Chicago. Come on now. But that's what he's saying.
Promises include outdoor lighting repairs, installation of CPD pod cameras, bi-weekly updates about capacity, and monthly community meetings.
We're going to start with 250 individuals that we will place in the building.
As of a few days ago, they don't have any beds yet. CBS 2 obtained these pictures taken inside the school this week. You can see floors with missing tiles, ceilings with no panels, and outstanding electrical work. The city acknowledged the to-do list.
We've got to make sure we get in the fire extinguishers. We've got to get in the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors.
All to be done apparently in the next 10 days. Some residents are holding on to hope this plan will be scrapped.
We're speaking up for our neighborhood.
Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen.
CBS 2 was the first to report that the city spent $1 million.
Now, this is what I want you to hear. I'm going to play that back in just a minute. Give me just a minute here. They're going to spend money on fixing the building and giving it security, yet you have a community that needs resources. The money that they're going to spend to fix this building up for a migrant shelter could be spent on the people that are actually citizens that pay the damn taxes to live in that community that's been living there before these migrants are even thought of. That money need to be better spent in the community, or the money should have been spent to build something that would benefit the community, the people that live there long term and have lived there long term. But hear this report, how much money they gonna spend.
We're speaking up for our neighborhood.
CBS 2 was the first to report that the city spent $1.5 million on this project. Chicago Public Schools said tonight that number is more like $1.6 million.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? $1.6 million will be spent on turning this place into a shelter for people who are not even citizens, who you don't even know what the background is. That $1.6 million could be used to help do what? Build housing for people that live in this community. Since you had the sister who said earlier that I put on the screen earlier, who's that sister that I had on the screen earlier, who said that, hey, I want to help everybody, but I want to help my people first. She talks about the community needs mixed housing, meaning affordable housing versus housing that's more expensive. That could be used to build more affordable housing for people like her and black people that live in this community to be able to live and stay in the community as it's being gentrified, which means what we used to call that back in the day, we called it Negro removal. You see, it's just like in New York with Mayor Adams. They spent millions of dollars in New York building that tent community for migrants, while you had black people homeless on the streets and black people in shelters that were poorly run, poorly taken care of, bad food, broken, and no resources. And he told everybody, I don't want to hear y'all making a comparison. This ain't about comparing nobody. But these people are citizens of the country. And when they had jobs and houses, they paid taxes. Let's hear this again.
And a district higher-up said something interesting. He told the crowd that construction crews were initially at the building to convert it into a custodial training facility. Then someone realized its potential as a shelter.
Okay, so I stand a little bit corrected here. They wanted to turn it into a custodial business or training center, but also I heard they were talking about maybe another 911 or some type of emergency center, right? And then now they're talking about they're going to make it a shelter all of a sudden.
Meanwhile, CPS told us in October that the construction work was for routine maintenance. Reporting.
So ladies and gentlemen,
Years. That's how long a migrant.
So ladies and gentlemen, they spent all that money to do routine. They spent money to make routine maintenance in a building that could have been used to benefit the community once they shut it down as a school. And Ron Emanuel is the one that's responsible for that situation happening. That same Ron Emanuel right here with yours truly, Obama, Barack Obama. Let me show you the last video that I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what their final decision was right here.
Some people questioned where the resources have been in the past.
This is beautiful. To go in and get a shelter for people, to help these individuals coming over here. What about the people who have been here for the last 20 years?
It's wrong on every level. Charity begins at home.
The city expects
Tell the
shelter
truth.
migrants at the school.
I have to play that back because of the simple fact that what the brother was saying was the truth. I'm going to move that back just a little bit. I appreciate everybody in the chat room, everyone that's here supporting the program, but I gotta do this again because what this brother right here, as you see, this is the brother that you see on the screen. He said, it's nice what you all are doing, building a shelter to help people that are in need, that are migrants. But what about the black people or the people that have been here from the very get-go for 20 years or more? Right? What about black folks that have been paying their taxes and living in this city all these years? What about us? What about us?
Resources have been in the past.
This is beautiful. To go in and get a shelter for people, to help these individuals coming over here. What about the people who have been here for the last 20 years?
It's wrong on every level. Charity begins at home.
The city expects shelter migrants at the school for up to 2 years.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also explore, before I end the program today, let me also bring something up to you. Among the United States black populations, both multiracial and Hispanic numbers have grown since 2000. So other groups are coming over here and their numbers are growing. United States black population, our numbers are not, our numbers, we're here, but other groups' numbers are growing. The reason why I bring this up is because as other people come into the country, their numbers are growing, our numbers are not growing. And black people are being pushed out to the margins. We're being pushed out in Los Angeles and Southern California, all over the country. We're being pushed out of the margins. We got a Democratic Party that spends more time talking to you and me about immigrants and migrants and immigration and what have you. And when we talk about our needs, they tell us, hey, if we help these people over here, it's going to help you. They tell us, hey, it's about equity. It's about people of color. Don't go for this people of color BS. That's a trick bag. Don't go for it. Whenever you talk to a politician about our needs and they start talking about people of color, they're not talking about us now. They're now trying to gravitate other people into the equation. Other groups that come over here, they don't go through or have not gone through our history. They don't have our history. So we can't be lumped in with other groups of people who are immigrants. We're not immigrants. We have a different plight to this country. Most of the laws in the civil rights laws and most of the bills and laws that were passed in this country were primarily passed to benefit black people, who was America's original sin. That original sin was enslaving black people. Now remember this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the word we got to stop saying. Stop saying that we are black people that come from slaves. No, we come from enslaved black people. No one's born a slave. You have to be put in slavery. So it is not our nature to be slaves. Our ancestors were free people that were enslaved by insane individuals. You see. So you're bringing other groups over here, and like they said in Woodlawn, resources are being chopped up. Resources are being scarce. And the thing that's crazy about it is that we're the biggest voting bloc right now for the Democratic Party, although they want the immigrants to become their new voting bloc so that we can be obsolete to them. But we still vote in higher numbers than any of these immigrants that they assist in bringing over here. We're still more loyal to the Democratic Party than these immigrants that they bring over here, but yet they give us the shit end of the stick. Let me tell you something. Let me show you something. This is very important. Over the third of the United States black population is 22 years old or older. So over a third of the United States black population is age 22 or younger, not older, younger. We have the 6 and under generation, Generation Z, the millennials, Generation X, baby boomers, silent generation. These are the numbers. You can't see those numbers too well. Fertility, very important, because other groups are coming over here. They're having babies. Their communities are growing. Fertility in the past year, the general fertility rates among black women age 15 to 44. And we don't want our daughters and we don't want our women having babies at 15, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just put that straight. But between age 15 and 44 is 5.9%. Okay. I just want y'all to know these numbers.
Tell the truth.
I appreciate, I'm about to end the program very soon here. I appreciate all of you for coming over and watching this program. Once again, these kind of programs don't get a lot of people over because it's too much truth and people don't want to hear truth.
Tell the truth.
They just want to hear, fantasy stuff. We got Mike B. Thank you for coming over, brother. We got Sister King in the house. Thank you for coming over, my sister. Truth, thank you for coming over and blessing the channel with your presence today. Maurice Smith, thank you for being here. Right, native black people are not people. Thank you. Von Bryant, thank you for being a great moderator, and all the moderators are great in here on the channel. Thank you. Upbeat and think Republicans don't do no better. Yeah, the Republicans don't do no better. So I wasn't trying to make this about, oh, the Democrats are bad, but the Republicans are so good. No, they're terrible. They're just as bad. I've already went over I've already talked about the South. 56% of black people the majority in this country live in the South. Most of those southern states are in bad shape. They're in ill repair. They've got economic problems. They got unemployment. They got drug issues going on in places like Arkansas. And guess who's in control of those states? Your Republican Party. Make America great again, huh? We got Deborah. Oh, and New York. New York is coming in very high with having large numbers of black people. So you have a good, New York out of all the major cities has the largest number of black people, I believe, in terms of black people who live in a major urban setting. Then you've got Philadelphia, Chicago, Oakland. I can name them all. Most of these urban cities are run by Democrats. But I mean, I'm talking about run in terms of at the mayor's level, right? At the lower level of politics. So New York is one of them. Philadelphia is another one of them. Oakland, California is another one of them. Los Angeles, we got Mayor Miss Bass, who's become mayor of Los Angeles. We'll have to see. The verdict is out on her because she just became mayor. We'll have to see what she's going to do. However, when she got into office, she's already talking that people of color stuff. So I'm a little wary of her too, but she's in office in Los Angeles. Then we got Detroit. We got all these various areas that black people live in this country. New Orleans, Baltimore, Maryland, right? All these various places we have to keep an eye on. We got my man, M Music Man, 1982. Yeah, both parties are sneakier than they're sneakier, and I don't trust them no more than I trust a cheap bag of French fries from McDonald's. Bling Bar. Hey, what's going on, my sister? MZ Kim, Bling Bar, and more. She says, this speaks to me because it's my neighborhood. Uh-oh. My sister, I hope that my program was hitting on truth today. I don't know how much you saw of what I was talking about from the beginning to finish, but please leave me a unfortunately, I won't be able to have a panel today, or I would drop a link. I'm going directly through my other streaming software, so I'm not going to be able to drop multiple links to people right now because I have some other things I need to do today. But I hope that I told the truth about the community and the fact that, I gotta be honest, it's Democrats in Chicago who are failing y'all. I'm not saying Republicans are any better, but the Democrats that you got in leadership in that town that you elect year after year have continued to fail you. And Lightfoot, I'm sorry, she's no better. And we have leadership at the Congressional Black Caucus level, at the federal level, that's failing us as well. What's going on, Real Aaron Collins? They're an anti-black agenda on so many levels today. Wake up. That's right, brother. Let me, we got Back to the Basics, who says, Information Man Show, thank you. This is upsetting, yet we still here. I feel like whopping at, yeah, I know it makes you want to whoop somebody's behind. I know that. San Francisco, California, blacks. Yeah, black people in San Francisco have also disappeared. And check this out. I'm glad Peggy Roster said this. San Francisco is another liberal-run city, and black people are disappearing in San Francisco in terms of our numbers. And black people are the last to get any benefits in San Francisco. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Mayor Brown was mayor of San Francisco, remember he wanted to build a mall connected to the football stadium at that time for the 49ers, and it didn't work out because he kept getting pushback. I'm gonna be honest with you, he was getting pushback by the white LGBTQ community, white people who are the ones who really is the white gay community that really runs San Francisco and controls the politics in that city. It's just the damn truth. And they were hating on Willie Brown. They were really hating on him doing something for black people as mayor of San Francisco. And it has not stopped since. You have a black female mayor there today. She's doing the best she can, but really black folks are not really benefiting in San Francisco because black people have disappeared. Now you see us, now you don't. It's not really funny, but I have to laugh to keep from crying. sending me. Oh, thank you, my sister. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Hey, RY, how you doing? Good to see you. RY is in the house saying, what's up, Information Man? Been listening in from the, hey, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate my man Vaughn doing the good job of being a moderator on the channel. All moderators on the channel, I give you a salute and clap. Let's see. Sister Natural's in the house saying hello to M Music Man 1982. Let me see. Black Anonymous, thank you for coming over, blessing the channel. Isn't Karen Bass married to a Mexican man? I believe she is, but like I said, I want to see. My thing is, no matter who she's married to, the verdict is out on her. I'm gonna sit back and examine how she deals with black issues in the city of Los Angeles, where black people are being gentrified out of Los Angeles. We'll see how that turns out. Let me see here. Information Man show you did. I just have so much more I can add to why it continues to happen. Well, sister, what I'll do is I will have another show where we can talk about these overall issues, and hopefully you'll be around to come up on the panel. This is what I'm gonna do. How about you do this for me with the time that I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna pull up my number. I'm gonna pull up my call line. I'm gonna have you call in. That's what we're gonna do. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna have you call in to the call-in line of the show. I'll put the number on the screen and have you speak your piece about what's going on. So let me get this thing set up. Let me play a little bit of music while I get this set up, okay? I appreciate all of you out there and your thoughts. Let me get this set up real quick. All right, I want you to dial that number. That number, call-in number is 605-313-5658 with the access code of 571128. Call-in number 605-313-5658, access code 571128. Call on in. I'll be waiting. All you have to do is dial 605-313-5658, access code 571. Hey, all right.
Ms. Kim.
Okay, Miss Kim, I'm glad we got you. Everybody, as Miss Kim starts to talk about her experience in the community, she is from this community. She lives in this community. I want you to put a 7 in the chat room if you can clearly hear her. Go ahead, Miss Kim. I want to hear Miss Kim. Are you there?
Okay, hey, Information Man. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I cut the sound down on my computer to make sure that I'm having an overlap.
Yes.
So can you hear me?
Yes, and I think everybody else can hear you too because I got you up nice and loud. Yes. Go ahead, sister.
Okay, great. So I grew up in Woodlawn on the south side of Chicago. And I remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the person that called in too.
Right,
I'm not information man.
Hang on, brother. You have to.
Somehow, they said, yeah.
Hang on.
I was listening to the prompt, and I said, then I heard your voice, and then you start talking, because I was actually listening to the screen right now.
All right, I'm going to wait until they finish their conversation. I need to hear from Miss Kim right now.
I can hear us on the video, so let's just hold him and get the instructions from the man. Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Computer to make sure
Miss Kim. If you got any back sound or anything on, turn it off so I can just hear your voice speaking, and then anybody else who wants to speak. I'm only going to do this for a little while because I want to hear what you have to say. Go ahead, Miss Kim. Miss Kim.
Okay, I don't have any background sound on, but there is another gentleman on the line with me, and I can't hear you.
Right, he's
going to
have to do one or two things.
I can only hear you on YouTube.
Okay. Well, look. Go ahead and continue what you were saying about. Just listen to me on the phone here. Go ahead and speak.
Oh, I can speak now if you like.
Yes, that's what I want you to do. I don't want to miss this opportunity to hear from you because you live there. Go ahead.
Okay, so now let me just straighten it out. I grew up in the neighborhood of Woodlawn on the south side of Chicago. I no longer live there, but I can definitely speak to what I saw growing up. I left after my first year of college, and of course I came back to visit because the majority of my family is there. What I saw and experienced was not the gentrification, because that didn't happen first. What happened was Mayor Daley, and I mean Mayor Daley Sr., sold out the south side of Chicago to the Arabs and the Koreans and whoever else wanted a piece of the south side of Chicago. And what happened is they kept trying to get our black business owners. We had grocery stores, we had beauty supply stores, we had, you name it, health stores, everything,
the truth.
Dry cleaners, everything of that nature. And what happened was they kept trying to get to leave, and they I'm going to keep going even though I hear something.
Yeah, somebody has to turn off. Anybody coming in has to turn off their...
And then they paid some of the brothers to burn those people out. We had video stores in all things of that. And the insurance rates went up so high, the people chose not to rebuild, and they took payoffs from the Arabs and the Koreans, and those people took over those stores, and they went up high as the sky on products. They treated our people very poorly when you went into those stores, because the majority of them did not have vehicles to get to other sides of town where the prices was cheaper. My mom and dad fortunately had a vehicle, and we would drive over to the township of Bridgeport, which is where Daley was born and raised, and that's where all of his constituency was. And that's where the cheapest real estate taxes were as well. Okay, and the food prices were cheaper. And I never could understand it, why people who are struggling have to pay more for everything than people who are not. So then the gap between finances is always there, and it just widens.
Okay.
So the other thing that I noticed was that when we had a Korean beauty supply store open up, and this was done systematically, right across the street from our black beauty supply stores. And my mother and other people in the neighborhood that were, activists kept trying to get the people, do not go into that Korean store. you're not being racist. What you're doing is you're protecting your neighborhood, because you cannot go into their neighborhoods and put up a storefront and then have those people patronize you. They will not do it. And so what happened was the Korean stores would lower their prices because they were buying in bulk, okay, together, and they would lower their prices 10 to 25 cents. And the people would go in there just to save a dime, okay, and cause the black ownership of the beauty supply store to go out of business. And I remember my mom talking to the owner, who was a friend of hers, and asking him, why can't you lower your prices? And he said, I can't. He said, I'm already at my bottom line, and I can't do any further. And they buy together, and the people that I know will not. So again, sometimes you throw your own self under the bus. They might start and light the match, but then you can't fight the system that they put in place for you. And they knew this was going to happen. So as a result, all of the black businesses were gone, the black grocery stores,
the truth.
you know, everything. And then you wonder why, and I believe it's because our people that were on the South Side at that time did not know how to create power. They did not know how to wield it. The ones that did moved out because the system was so strong that they could not fight it. They just could not. I'm one of the ones that moved away.
Okay.
They built projects in our neighborhoods, destroyed the neighborhoods, but the projects that they created for the Caucasian people, the white people, were no more than 2 stories. They put buildings up like you would see on Good Times, because that was true. That was Cabrini Green. Okay. They put all those buildings up, and they had a whole bunch of buildings on State Street that you could see the actual lakefront of Lake Michigan. Those buildings are no longer there, but there have been experimentation where you put a whole bunch of rats together in a close area, and they start fighting amongst themselves and killing each other. And that's what was going on in our neighborhood. It destroyed the surrounding neighborhoods. When the buildings were tore down, a lot of those people ended up going into the outlying neighborhoods or the south suburban area of Chicago, and they helped to destroy that as well. We never had what we really needed in Chicago, which was people who understood how to create power and how to wield it and how to keep the aldermen. That's what we call it in Chicago. Those are like the city councilmen that, well, they're a little bit lower than the city councilmen, but those people, and keep them under control and let them know this is what we want, this is what we need from you, and this is what we want you to do, or otherwise we will vote you out. And I see other communities, they do better than that. I don't know why we have that problem. I would love to have that discussion one time with someone who knows the psychology of all of it.
Wow. Wow. I certainly appreciate your point of view from your experience about these issues. And this is not only happening in Chicago, as you already know, this is happening in various communities that are black communities throughout this country that are similar to Chicago. I just think what the ladies were saying on the video and the news reports that, hey, Woodlawn is already going through enough stress on their community. Now you want to bring migrants in who are now going to take up resources and time and energy, which the city's going to spend money on them, what should be spent on the citizens that are already been living there all these years. And we talk about mixed income because they're trying to gentrify us all over the place. So I just think that it was disrespectful of Mayor Lightfoot and any of the leadership in Chicago, no matter what side it's on, left or right, to not even give these people a say. And I played videos today where you had one of the people at one of the hearings say that, yeah, we screwed up and didn't give you a say in this. We screwed up and didn't say anything. So I want to thank you for giving you those thoughts and everything like that. I'm getting a lot of feedback right now from someone on the line But thank you for giving us that information. That was important for us to know that. If there is someone else on the line that would like to speak,
I'm sorry, that's not me. I was.
yeah, I know it's not you. If there is someone else on the line that would like to speak, go ahead and speak your piece about this issue before I get ready to close this show out today. Go ahead. Do we have anyone else on the line? Is there anyone else on the line? Going once, going twice, 3 times a lady. All right. So it doesn't look like we have anyone else on the line that's called in to give their thoughts about this issue. But we did have Kim call in and give her thoughts. She said to us today that she lived and grew up and lived in that community. She moved out, of course, but she knows a lot of the history as to why Chicago is the way it is right now, and particularly as it relates to Woodlawn, that community specifically. So I want to thank her for coming up. Give her a clap. I'll take down the call-in line. If there is any other person on the call-in line that wants to say anything and render their voice, go ahead before I end the program. Who else do we have on the call-in line? Who else do we have? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Is there anybody else that's there? If you're there, render your voice.
Irie.
Irie, go ahead, Irie. It's all yours. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got the floor, sister. Go ahead and speak. Irie, you can speak. You can speak, Irie. Okay. Can someone let her know in the chat room that, thank you, Miss Kim, for coming up. And make sure y'all check out her channel. Give her support. Okay. Go ahead and speak, sister.
Thank you, Miss Kim, for coming up. And make sure y'all check out her channel. Give her support.
The Truth.
How you doing, The Truth? I'm waiting to hear from you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm ready to hear from you, Truth.
Thank you so much for having me on, sir. I really, really, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
My family has been in Woodlawn since 1929.
Woo!
My great-grandfather purchased our home in 1929 in Woodlawn, and my entire family has been there ever since. And my brother got shot and killed in gang violence, my baby brother. My oldest brother got shot and killed in gang violence.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I had like 4 cousins that were shot and killed in gang violence. I had another cousin who was a female. They just recently found her dead in a car, and it had something to do with drugs. She was a product of pedophile behavior.
Wow.
So the reason you hit home is because, number one, I've never seen anybody give Woodlawn this type of attention other than maybe a few people, very few people. But seeing you give Woodlawn this type of attention, knowing everything that we have been through in Woodlawn, so many people have been killed. Like, there are no boys alive from my graduation picture from
God.
James McCosh. James McCosh is now known as Emmett Till because it was the school that he went to. We all went to Emmett Till.
Emmett Till.
And there are no boys alive from my graduation picture. Everybody has been shot and killed.
No boys alive from your
Woodlawn
graduating?
is a product of, number one, bad leadership, and number 2, bad parenting. So when you put the two together, you get a community full of chaos and tragedy. You make my heart so happy just to know that there are people, you know, who are noticing. Just for the people that don't know, Woodlawn is 63rd Street. 63rd and Stony Island all the way down to 63rd and Halsted. It's 63rd Street. And everything that you all see, them little boys on them videos, on them YouTube videos from O Block, that's Parkway Gardens, and 63rd and King Drive is real.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Wow.
Those boys are over there killing one another left and right. They don't care who they kill. Wow. My brother, by the time he was 12 years old, he had shot 3 people. By the time he was 12, 3 people that I know of, he had shot and killed. By the time he was 12, because older guys was giving him guns, telling him to go shoot this person, go shoot that person. By the time he was 12. And so,
wow.
From what I see, all of these little boys who are out here shooting one another, they're wards of the state. Everybody in a political position, the only thing you're going to hear them say is, we are the parents. But they forget to tell you that they are the parents. Our politicians, they are the parents. These kids are wards of the state. We got little babies on the train every night, all throughout the night, robbing people. Those boys are wards of the state. They are in state custody. They don't have parents. Woodlawn is flooded with pedophile behavior. When I tell you it's nothing but pedophile behavior all over Woodlawn, we all had babies as teenagers. They're old men.
Oh my God.
Everybody over there in Woodlawn had babies by old men. All the old men in Woodlawn are messing with the little girls, and I can't make that up. That's what's going on in Woodlawn.
Wow.
My apologies for my feelings and my emotions, but I lost so many brothers and so many cousins from the bullshit.
You have a right to express what you went
I
through, but
celebrate
I
my
can't believe
cousins
it.
and my
I'm
brothers.
blown away
I
by what you're
celebrate
telling
them
me.
with a candle every year because they shot, they dead, they gone. All because we didn't have leadership.
Right. I'm just I don't know what to
And
say.
to see this
I'm blown
man
away
give
by what you're telling me.
this type of attention. In real life, that's my cousin Erica that he's showing on that screen. That's what we do. We fight. In real life, that's my cousin. We fight. That lady that he's showing, that's Jean Clark. She's been living over there since I was a little girl.
So you're
Her
familiar.
and I campaign together for who we want to see in office.
Jean Clark. This lady, this
I'm
woman
just
here,
so
or this woman here?
grateful right now and so appreciative that this man is giving Woodlawn this type of attention.
Wow.
They just found an
I had no idea.
11-year-old girl in the alley raped by an old man in Woodlawn. She was walking home from choir rehearsal.
Oh my God. I can't believe this.
The old man in Woodlawn are pedophiles, all of them. I'm going to hang up now.
Okay.
I'm going to hang up.
I understand, sister.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me.
And thank you for. I want to say I'm gonna have to close out the phone calls here. That was more than what I was expecting. She said some things that there's nothing I can say. We got issues that we need to deal with that need to be dealt with off of social media. We have some serious issues. I believe everything that she said because we know that that does go on in some of our communities where you have old men taking advantage. That's probably why R. Kelly was able to do what he did in Chicago all those years. If you got an epidemic like that going on where you have older men taking advantage of younger females, and even if that younger female knows that she's underage and she's trying to give attention to you, I said this on my other show about R. Kelly. I don't care if the younger female is making a pass at you as an older man. You're the older adult. You're supposed to know better. That's why they're a minor. They don't always know better. But when you got older men taking advantage of younger women in some of our communities, that's a damn shame. And that's a sickness. And I do know that there are older men running around these streets in America that are doing those things. I don't know them personally, but I know that they're out there. I didn't do this video today to say that Woodlawn was this perfect place. That obviously, like any environment where you have social economics that are not that great, you're going to have people that are poor, and you're going to have people within those communities that are doing wrong and those that are doing right. But to pray, I know this to be true. That's why, and I don't care what anybody thinks about what I'm about to say. That's why some of our black women have the disposition that they have, because some of them have been touched, mistreated physically, sexually by older members in their family or older members in their community. This stuff does happen. Let's stop BSing around. This is the truth.
Tell the truth.
It doesn't mean that it's all black men or all men doing this, but there's certainly men out there that are doing it. Woodlawn has a lot of issues, and I hope that the sister that called in, sometimes maybe getting it out of her system will help her. It's not good to keep these emotions inside. You have to get these emotions out, and you need to put it out there and examine it. I hope that although she got emotional telling what was happening, I hope that there's some way that she can find a way to heal from the pain that she's experienced and that she has seen in that community. I hope that there's a way that she can heal from the trauma of what she experienced. And I hope that people in the community can get help for that trauma. But unfortunately, a lot of our people go a long time without any healing. One of the things that we have in the black community is our denial of mental health, our denial of these real issues that go on. So we like to act like it doesn't exist. And this is why people will use YouTube. You have people that get on YouTube and they'll try to create a persona and act like their draws don't stink. These are real issues. I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer to ending these problems. I have suggestions. I think it's not all Black America, but it's certainly some of Black America that has these problems. I don't know. I don't know what to say, y'all. I was not expecting I don't have a problem with the sister's emotions because they were real, but I just wasn't expecting that realism we had two people who called in, one who currently lives in that community. Her family, I think she said her family lived in that community since 1929. That's a long time. And we had Miss Kim, who also called in and said that she used to live there for many years and she left the community. And she said a lot of the problems in community is a lot of Black people in the community, along with the politicians who have not been accountable for their behavior and the things that they have done to contribute to the problems. The poor economic, this core socioeconomic circumstances that we find ourselves in and some of our communities. This one, I tell you, from Peggy to RY, KG, Mike B, the real Aaron Collins, Empress Goddess, RY, Kiji G in the house, Brenda King, A View for a View. I'm glad to see you over here. Back to the basics. Anybody that came in the chat room that I did not get a chance to see, I apologize if I didn't shout anybody out that came in the chat room that I might have missed. Nothing personal from Brother Vaughn, Peggy Roster, to anybody that came in the chat room that I might have missed. No disrespect to any of you. Carla, to Sister 2-Star, Carolina 2-Star, good to see you in the chat room. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
To Sister Natural Justice in the house. She's from Chicago, I'm sure. She has stories to tell as well that she could tell from her, maybe her experiences. I don't know. This is not what I was expecting to hear from the sister, meaning the emotions were real. And I really feel bad because I know what she's saying is true. It hurts me to have to admit that it's true, but that's the first step in healing and going forward, is that you have to admit when you got some problems, even in your own community. And a lot of times we're in denial of it. We don't want to talk about it. I get it. But I know what she just said, because I know there's going to be somebody out there that's going to say, oh, no, you're blaming men for everything. No, there are men out there who take advantage of women that are young women, that are older men. And there are women out there that do take advantage of men and younger men too. Oh, yeah, that's true. But what she said, I know to be true. Factual. No cap here. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for spending time on this program, being a part of this program today. As emotional as it got near the end there, I don't know what I could do, but I need to end that right there and put that right there, back up there like I had that. And I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting, because I hate to hear people cry. I hate to just hear a person cry, emotions that are basically based in something real that happened to them. But it's almost like when you hear people break down like that, it's like you wish you can help them. You wish you could take that feeling away from them. But it could be also therapeutic when people get the feelings out. It could be therapeutic because we just can't walk around with this kind of baggage inside of ourselves, everybody. You have to get it out. Don't be afraid to talk to someone about your problems, your issues. Don't be afraid to seek counseling. Don't be afraid to be very honest about the problems in your family or in your community. As of right now, they are going to put the migrants in this community, Woodlawn, for 2 years, according to the news and according to Mayor Lightfoot and her administration. They're going to be there for 2 years, despite what the people in the community want. A community that, according to the sister, Miss Kim, and the sister that called in, Miss Truth, who called in, they're saying it's a community that has been under trauma, not just now, but under trauma for some time. Not only from what the politicians are doing to them, but may possibly be the trauma that's being self-inflicted by those that live in the community when it comes to harming people in the community, like ladies or young women or underage girls. I'm not going to deny that that's not true. I'm going to say it again. We witnessed R. Kelly get away with stuff for years in Chicago when it came to underage girls. We all are witness to that, or at least to hearing and learning about these revelations about him. So it doesn't surprise me that it could be the facts as she tells us today. Real Aaron Collins says, I used to live in COMMENT City, Natural. I have family there. Okay, you're talking to her. And I want to say thank you to Carolina 2-Stars as well. Thank you. Very lovely avatar as well. Very lovely. Everybody's lovely. And I don't know how I end this. Like, that's a hell of a way to end it. Man, that sister shook me too. I mean, I don't know. When I end this stream, that's a lot that was put on. That was a lot that was put out there. That was a lot that we heard. And now I've got mixed emotions because I feel really bad that those are things that are happening. I feel bad that that's happening. I never want to see anybody suffering and being mistreated in our community. We often talk about white supremacy or racism or white people do this to us or do that to us. But the fact of the matter is, I think my man, George Makem said this too on his show. I think that we are our own worst enemy than anyone else outside of ourselves. You are your own worst enemy. Our own people are preying on us. So these white supremacist groups don't have to do anything to us anymore because we have our own people, men, women, our own people, whether they be politicians, not politicians, whatever they are doing more harm to us. This effing drill music, which I don't really see as real rap music, because that's not what the origins of rap music was never designed to be a genre of music to tell people to harm other people and to harm people. That was never the real origins of rap music. So the rap music that we're hearing today is not real rap music. The music and the vibrations, the low vibrations that it's putting out is putting out as my man George Makem once said, do we have a deaf culture? Do we have a culture that's celebrating death and taking people's lives? It ain't just music, but it's so many other areas that we display this dysfunction. So I can talk about whether the Democratic Party did this to us or did that, but at the same time, what are we doing? Look at what we're doing to each other. What are we doing to each other in our communities? What are we not doing? What are we doing? And at the same time, when we get on social media, we're like the only people that have everything negative to say about one another on social media. Now, there are black people who should be called out. Yes, 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 yes. People who raccoon and lie and cheat and steal from us, they should be called out. But I'm talking about black people when we get on panels and we can't even have decent conversation with each other without it being a big blow up. And sooner or later, it's coming down the pipeline. It's coming. Eventually, YouTube is going to get rid of channels that do this stuff. Eventually, for those of you who do that type of content and do drama content and have drama on your channel, eventually YouTube is going to get rid of you. It's coming. I've been on YouTube for a while now. I'm seeing when you look on YouTube, and I'm going to be doing new videos on Info Media Live. YouTube is implementing so many new things. You can now monetize and get people to support and give you support financially on your YouTube shorts. YouTube is opening up so many gateways to opportunities that eventually, as they open up these gateways and they become more corporate as they have, a lot of you who do this drama content, where you do drama on your show, where you're arguing with people and calling people out their names, eventually they're going to show you the door and be like, goodbye, because they are a corporation now. Their bottom line is to make money. And if your content doesn't make them money because your content can't be monetized, can't get ads put on it, or it's content that's non-constructive content, they're going to say goodbye. And then they're going to kick you off of YouTube at the IP level where you can't make a new account ever again. It's coming down the pipeline. I can see it. I can drive to San Bruno, California, to the YouTube headquarters and get this kind of information. It's coming. I see all the signs of it right now. Yeah, YouTube doesn't mind black people crapping on each other on YouTube. They don't mind that. They'll pump it out there. They'll let you do that. They don't mind. They want us to do dumb stuff like that, right? They don't mind. But eventually, after they get tired of it entertaining them and the novelty of the entertainment of us acting like that on these YouTube streets towards each other, eventually they're going to get bored with it and they're going to say, now, be gone with them. And that's why, especially when you look at Black YouTube, that's why our channels can't grow. That's why we can't blow up and become like these, because we spend too much time hating on one another, tearing down each other's channels, and also not supporting each other's channels. Therefore, why we fight each other, the white boys and all the other YouTubers of other groups and races, they're laughing all the way to the bank. That's why they get 120,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers. Oh, their channels are blowing up and overflowing. While we have channels on Black YouTube, or we have Black women in black, we have Black women talking about Black men like a dog. We have Black men talking about Black women like a dog. And then we're talking about each other like a dog. And then you wonder why you're staying in the Chitlin circuit. Well, anyway, that's what I have to say about it. I appreciate you all. Thank you for putting my Spreaker channel in there. I got a lot of channels over there on Spreaker. I got a sports channel. I got a sports channel, the what's that? Prime Sports Media, little small channel right now. If you want to subscribe to that channel, go ahead. That's a sports channel. I'll be covering a lot of stuff about Deion Sanders and other sports. I also have a Twitter page called Prime Sports Media. Prime Sports Media. That's a Twitter page. Go on over there and follow that. I'll be loading up new content. For those of you who want to learn more about building YouTube channels and stuff like that, I'll be loading up new content on Info Media Live coming very, very soon. You'll see me back on this channel going into next week. If there's a breaking story and something happens, I will go live on this channel whenever there's something very pressing to talk about. Another thing that I want you all to see here before I leave, let me put this video. I got to have y'all watch this. It's going to make you mad when I show you this, but you need to see this before I get out of here. Let me pull this up. Before I get out of this, you got to see this. Did I download this video? That's my only problem. Did I download it already? I may not have downloaded, so I'll save it for next time's program. Yeah, I don't think I did not download it yet. That's my fault. It was another video that I want y'all to see that is unbelievable. You know what I'll do? I'll load it up as a YouTube short or something like that so y'all can see it, but I'll probably load it up next week. But damn it, I wanted to show you the video because it's so important. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I thank you for your support today. Everybody in the chat room, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure you share the video. I think this is a very important video that I did today. So please share this in your social media. Share it with your friends, your family members. Those of you that live in Chicago, Chi-Town out there, you guys support this channel heavily. You know why? Because I can look at my analytical numbers. Everybody in Chi-Town, share this video amongst people in the community. Anybody that's from Woodlawn, I love you. I'm sorry about the things that's happening there. But if you're from Chicago, share this video throughout Chicago. Please do. Share it with your friends, your family. Share it alike. I appreciate you all out there. With that said, y'all take care. This is the Information Man Show. Thank you. Peace. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Tell the truth.
Good night, everybody. Peace.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
This only happens in American society. Only in America.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information
Tell the
is
truth.
power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information man, please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information man, please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.